thanks to everybody for coming out. I think most of you probably know that Lee celebrated his 99th birthday on Thursday.
Yeah.
So in just a few minutes, he's going to talk a bit about his art, and then Jill from the
Valley Sculpture Artists
is going to make a presentation, and then we're going to have cake.
Yay!
So Lee, take it away.
Okay, well,
I want to know what kind of a last name you have.
Armenian.
Armenian.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Thank
Well, I
you.
know why you're all here, because you wondered what a 99-year-old guy looked like. I know you're not here for the art, so don't try to fool me. Oh, is it working?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, I'm a biology professor. I'm botany for 64 years at Sac State. 37 of them were full-time, 27 of them were part-time. Adds up, I can still do the adding. It's 64. And I probably still would be harassing my department chair, who's standing right over here, and asking her, can I please teach some more? Can I teach some more? But I can't get around very well. You know, the knees and hips are, they're in their own world. And my brain keeps sending orders down there to do things, and they just give the raspberries to the brain. So, unfortunately. So anyway, a long time ago, when I was in high school, or before that, I want to say, first of all, Tony and Donna and Tony Natsoulis are responsible. They are responsible for aiding me, helping me, over a long bunch of years. I've known them for, I don't know how long. How long has it been? 20 plus years? Okay, 20 plus years. And Tony's been an inspiration. And when I've sort of faltered a little bit, he said, oh, come on, you could do it. Come on, you could do that. So without their help, both of them, Donna and Tony, all this stuff probably wouldn't be here. So they deserve a huge amount of applause. So when I was in high school, I worked in a soda fountain for a while, and I got 25 cents an hour, and I thought that was really big money. I worked 3 hours every Saturday, and I got 75 cents, and then I went downtown, told my mom that I'm going to go downtown to the Art Institute, and she said, well, okay, be careful, because it takes an hour on the streetcar in Chicago to get there. And then I would meet a friend, another high school mate, and we would go through the whole Art Institute of Chicago, Saturday after Saturday after Saturday, and we kept looking at all the art, and I kept looking at all the Asian stuff, and it really talked to me. I don't know why. Probably in my DNA there's some genes from Middle Asia somewhere or another, maybe about 10,000 years ago, something. So it really talked to me. Asian art really. And I thought, well, if I could live in a museum, that'd be the greatest thing of all. Well, you can't live in a museum, but you could be a curator, right? That's the closest thing to living in a museum. So I thought I'd become a curator. And I thought, well, is that really practical? Can you make a living? So I went to the Art Institute of Chicago, made an appointment with the curator of Asian art, Mr. Charles Fabens Kelly, very famous at that time. This is I don't want to say, really long time ago. Long time ago. Wasn't 18 though. It was 19. And I said, I want your job. And he said, you want my job? And I said, well, I really want a job like your job. And so then he said, okay, I'll ask you a whole bunch of questions and we'll see if you're suitable. And he said, first of all, he had a column of yeses and he had a column of nos. And then He said, every time it's a yes, I'll give you a check mark. If it's a no, there'll be a check mark. We'll add up the check marks at the end and we'll see whether you're suited to be a curator in a museum or not. So the first thing he said is, you have a terrible, difficult name. Too many letters, 9 letters in your name. That's a no. So, oh, right out of the box is a no. And then he said, now, let's see, what religion are you? Now, in those days, you could ask stuff like that. You can't do that anymore, luckily. And so I said, well, my ancestors were Congregationalists, Armenian. There's an Armenian Congregational Church as such, and they were Christians. Oh, he said, well, okay, that's a yes. And I said, well, what would have been a no? And he said, anything other than Christian would have been a no. So then he said, what does your father do? And I said, he's a photo engraver. And he said, that means he works with his hands, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, that's a no. No. So he asked a lot of other questions, and all the no's piled up. And I thought, well, not very many yeses, so I guess the world of art is not for me, at least museum curatorship art. And I didn't think about making art. I just thought about being a curator because I love the art at the Art Institute in Chicago. So then I majored in science, and I loved science a lot. So that was okay. And I liked botany a lot. I became a botanist. I got all 3 degrees at the University of Chicago, thanks to the GI Bill, because I was in the U.S. Navy. I may be the only veteran Navy who never learned how to swim. And I hate the water. Hate the water. No cruises for me. And how did I get out of learning how to swim? I cheated. I did all kinds of. I marked myself present when I wasn't present, and the officers never caught on because they were too busy thinking about the weekend and the girls and the booze, So anyhow, came to Sacramento in 1954. I met the very famous Ruth Rippon, and she said, why don't you come and work with clay? And so I thought, well, I don't know, how do I? And she said, you can learn how to throw it on a wheel. And I said, really? And so, if you put a lump of clay on a wheel and it starts spinning and if you're not really attentive, it flies off onto the, just gone like that. So I learned how to throw. And so there's some examples in the show here of thrown pieces that go way back. But then I hurt my back and I couldn't do that anymore. And at that time, Yoshio Taylor was teaching part-time at Sac State. And he said, well, you don't have to throw on a wheel to make clay work. You can roll out slabs and make stuff from slabs. I said, really? Yeah. So I started rolling out on slabs. And I was fascinated with burial pieces from China. And from about 200 BC or BCE nowadays, I guess, to 200 CE, 400-year period, was very popular for the head man of a village when he died to be put in a sarcophagus, and they'd hollow out part of a hillside with feng shui, correct feng shui, and they'd put him in there and then surround him with clay models of all the things he'd need in the next life: a pigsty, a granary, a house to live in, a guard building, all that stuff. And they were beautiful. And I saw them in museums, and I wanted one. And I looked at the auction records, and 80,000, 90,000, 100,000, and I thought, oh, never make that. So I thought maybe I could make one. So the very first house is here somewhere, small one, and I built it. Is it over there? Small one. And Yoshio said, well, I don't know if that'll survive the firing or not. And I said, well, can we try? Because I really worked hard on putting the walls together carefully and everything. And he said, well, we'll see. So we fired it, came out bisqueware, the first step, and then I had to put glaze on it, and I used underglaze, not shiny, and a lot of different colors on it, and put it in it, firing again, and it came out and it didn't look right. It looked sort of weird. And I said, could I fire it again? And he said, you're going to stress the joints. That's going to come apart. And I said, well, I'll just take a chance. Did it again. Still didn't look right. So that piece got fired about 5 times, and it never separated, never came apart. So he said, what are you doing that it's not? And I said, well, watch me. Well, inside all of these where the walls come together, there's a huge amount of clay in there to hold it all together. And all these roofs, they've got rafters underneath. So if you wanted to lift part of these up, they come apart into pieces. But Steve can tell you, I think Steve is here somewhere, Cynthia's brother, lifted the pieces up. They're heavy. They're heavy because of all that support. So I think maybe in my DNA, probably there's something of a construction guy, maybe way back there, maybe 3,000 years ago. The Turks came out of Middle Asia in about the 1700s, and they conquered my homeland. And so then we all had to work for the Sultan. And probably one of my ancestors, the Sultan said, you will make this and this and this. And he said, oh, okay. So maybe I've inherited some of the strength of doing that anyway. So then, of course, Tony and Donna would say, well, that looks pretty good, but, not really quite, you got to do some more. So they would give me a lot of very good advice, and Tony did a lot of firing of the metallic things on some of the pieces, and so I had a very good time. Now, the enamels are something that came from Chicago. When I was a graduate student, I took a course in etching at the Art Institute of Chicago every Saturday and finished the class. And I thought, what are we going to do with all these copper plates? And they were quite thick and they weren't very big. And the teacher said, well, I heard that outside of Chicago is an enamel factory where they manufacture enamels, ground up glass. And I said, really? And I had a car. She didn't. And I said, she said, let's go. You take me. I'll go with you. So we went and we bought some enamels, came back. I used a Bunsen burner to heat up the enamels, melted the enamels, and you can see some of the results. Then, there was a state fair that used to run in the Oak Park area, and they needed some demonstrators, and I got a call from Fred Ball's mom, Catherine Ball, and she said, I hear you do enamels. You know how to do enamels. Would you come and during the state fair, and we'll do it together? So I said, oh, I'd love to do that. So for 11 days, 2 different years, I made those enamels that are on the wall over there. So they date back to the 50s. So really old stuff here. And so I had a good time doing that. And I like jewelry a lot. And so that's the closest I could get to making jewelry, those enamels, sort of jewel tones, like that. So what else do you want to know about me? So that's my career has been sort of 2-pronged, a serious one in biology, and I enjoyed teaching a lot. And I quit teaching just before COVID required online teaching and Zoom and all the rest of it. I think I would have been miserable trying to do that because nothing replaces the visual of a class of students in front of you, and you're telling them something that they don't know, and their faces change, and you can read that on their faces, and it's exciting and thrilling, and you feel, wow, I did something. I taught somebody something they didn't know, and I think that's what keeps us teachers going and gets us through the bad times of writing up exams and catching the cheaters and, making up the grades and doing all the grunt work involved. So teaching people something that they appreciate learning, I think is makes you feel ecstatic. So, oh,
Yeah.
so if you have any questions that I can answer, if they're technical, Tony is your man, wherever he is. And he's the super expert. And he has a show that just opened last night at the Fresno Art Museum. And it runs on through June. So if you're ever down that way, do have a look, because I think it's a beautiful show.
By the way, Emmett, when did you learn about drugs? You know everything about drugs.
Oh, well, okay. My dad was out of work a lot, and in Chicago during the Depression, it was really pretty bad. And he used to play backgammon with some other Armenian guys, and they were very well off because they'd made a lot of money selling Oriental rugs in the 20s. They were very popular then. So they would come over and they felt sorry for my dad, out of work, no money. So they gave him rugs to sell, and they said, here, take these rugs and we'll give you a commission when you sell them. And so that was fine. Well, he didn't get to sell any of them. And they said, oh, we'll just keep them. And it happened that the landlord of the apartment building that we lived in liked Oriental rugs. His name was Mr. Rosenblum. I'll never forget that. And so he would come, and each month, instead of taking rent, he took a rug.
Oh.
And so I grew up with all these beautiful rugs on the floor, and crawling around as a little baby and all the rest of it. And I think all the imagery got printed in my little mind. And so I've been interested in textiles for a long time and have collected some rugs and other kinds of textiles too. So maybe I had some ancestor that was a weaver. We have, 36,000 genes, something like that, in our DNA? A lot. 36,000, let's say 36,000 genes. We only know what a fraction of them do. There are all the other ones, and I used to tell my biology class it's called junk DNA, because we didn't know what all that was for. Well, I'm now thinking there's no junk DNA. No way. All that DNA has got something to do with modulating who you are, what you do, what you think. Because I think the psychologists, Marty, are you here? Oh, Dennis, I think maybe behavior is.
Don't try to.
So Dennis is the very best student I ever had in 64 years. And he isn't even a biology major. He was a psychology major, and he retired from University of Texas and now going to live among us here in Sacramento.
65 years ago, he taught me Darwin. We went through the origin of species in his semester honors class.
We go back a little bit, yes.
Nobody's even mentioned music. He plays the harpsichord.
Oh, well, yeah. What I dropped. So, anybody else have any questions? Good.
Can you talk about the inspiration of Asian art in your work?
Yeah, I think the Asian art has inspired me, and that's what you're looking at all around you is basically inspired by Asian art, Chinese, Japanese.
How and why?
I don't know. I just felt connected with it in some way. I'm not. So, all these buildings, almost all of the clay work has some kind of Asian look about it. And the other work even does too. So I don't know. I don't know how.
Trump inspired you, apparently.
Pardon? Well, yeah, I decided, there's some couple of very famous contemporary painters that were painting words, and they got a lot of attention in the magazines and so on. And I thought, well, why can't I put words on a plate? So I decided to do that. And Tony helped me enormously in getting those ready to do. And I would hunt up aphorisms that would be suitable to put on a plate, not too long because there's not much room there. And so I did those. And the one about the voters want a fraud, I thought was really appropriate for the season. And I offered that to KVIE this past spring for their fall auction. I've given them something for, I don't know, it was many years that it's been running. And they turned it down, and they said that their viewership would not want to read that. So I don't know. I think they missed out on, hey, there's Yoshio, responsible for a lot. How are you? I'm pretty good. How are you? So he was a big influence in ceramics in the very beginning.
Yeah. That's what he says.
So a lot of people have influenced
we
me.
were both teaching at Sac State.
Yeah.
And he was like my dad, you know.
Yeah, like his dad. Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear that. But
So anybody have any other questions? Anything you want to say? Or I really appreciate your all coming. I see lots of old friends and new friends, and
Well, I am so proud of you. You're such a role model.
oh, I don't know about that. I just lived a long time. That's it. The secret is, I'll give you one secret for a long life, everybody.
One secret.
One secret. Dark chocolate.
Yeah. They don't listen.
Dark
I think you
chocolate.
hit it.
Now you know why people don't realize.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, everybody, stay.
Jill. Oh, yeah. Is my mic on?
Yes, it should be.
Yes. Let's give Leah a big.
So Jill has a presentation or something to
A
say.
very
Yes.
short.
Short, yeah.
You won't fall asleep. So I'm sorry to stand behind you, Lee.
That's okay.
So my name is Jill Lipka, and I live in Lodi. And Sue Ann Foster is the president of the Valley Sculpture Artists, and she asked me to come here and just give you a brief, intro about the organization. I could stand next to him. So, and the funny thing is, in Lodi, I'm a sculptor. If we had an event, maybe 15 people would show up. So when she said, "Oh yeah, can you talk to the people?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, no problem." I didn't even think of anything to say. So apparently, the organization was founded in 1998, and I think we have Ann Bradley here. She was the first recipient of an award that the Valley Sculpture Artists give out each year. Amazing artist. The group is about 50 people that kind of rotate in and rotate out, and we have other people that we hold on to as a part of the organization, whether they like it or not. And I would think that you're in that category. So essentially, I moved here from out of state, and I live in Lodi, as I said, and I met a whole bunch of artists there. I was really excited. People in Stockton, and a lot of them are painters. And if you're a sculptor, I think your brain function might be a little bit different, if you know what I mean, if you're a sculptor. And so I met Sue Ann Foster out at Oakwild Ranch. I don't know if you've been out there, or when it was still around. And we've been friends since 2017. And she introduced me to this wonderful group of people. Sometimes we're active, sometimes we're not. We get together, we have potlucks, and we invite people who like to collect art to even come to our potlucks, because you never know what random, piece you'll find there. And like I brought an error once, and people were really fascinated with the thing that didn't work. It's funny how people like that. Anyway, so if you are a sculptor, or you want to be a sculptor, or you love art and you'd like to, just meet artists and have food and talk. And once a year, we usually have an exhibit somewhere. We do the state fair. We usually stand around at a booth and talk to kids about art, get more kids into art. Yes, you can earn an income. We talk to their parents about this. I suggest that we have some flyers. Valley Sculpture Artists, great, passionate, real artists, real working artists organization. And if you have any questions about it, you can take me aside after we have cake.
Over cake.
Great.
Happy birthday, Ann.
We can
No.
ask in just a minute because Anne has something that she'd like.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Is it clipped?
Lee, you talked to Sue Ann about this award. There's your note.
Oh, thank you.
And there's going to give this to. We're giving another award that the club during COVID did not give the awards out for 2 years. So we're going backwards. And that's for her too, the one that's getting this award. And she doesn't know about it. So it's a surprise.
Oh my goodness.
And you can give her this.
This is the 2023.
It's for 2023.
Yeah, very lovely.
That would be me.
Oh, that would be you.
Yes, this is,
Oh.
and this is your money.
Is this when I cry?
Yes.
Yes, this is when you cry.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Wow.
There was 2 awards that we missed during COVID.
I'm a biomorphic sculptor. I don't know if that means anybody. I do a lot of things from nature. I love like electron microscopes. If you look underneath and you see like pollen, I get super excited about that. So I make things. That's maybe you can see some sort of And I also like carved wood, and I hammer copper. And maybe.
And her, she has just such unusual material. You can see on
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I make my
I
own
thought it
modeling
was-
compounds.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
So science, I actually weigh out my materials. You'd be proud, and so I can replicate it. And well, I'm so honored. I'm shaking. And thank you. And wow, excellent. Thank you so much.
We would like everyone to sign this
Oh,
poster
yes.
for Lee. These are the people who have gotten awards over the last 20 years. And under here, which she,
Oh my.
was covered up. And we have these pens that write in black. So you can, if you're here, a lot of these people are gone, I hate to say. But anybody that wants to say anything, can take his pen and write a little note.
Yeah, write a little note.
To Lee.
Yeah, it's for Lee. It's like a big giant card.
Oh, put it up there. Okay.
Excellent.
Here, and these pens will write on black boards.
And then we sing and have cake.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it. Yes, do that. It's under.
Is that how you want it?
So they can write on. Sure.
Okay, so we're gonna sing happy birthday, and then anybody who wants cake, go up to the front and there'll be slice of cake up there. Okay, ready? Dawn. My husband sings.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear me. Happy birthday to you. Very nice.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, thank you.
we just talk loud?
How are you? I see you in photograph.
appreciate Lee
Yeah.
because I can hear you way in the back.
Regularly.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
It's been